The number one LR, Tech Vegito, makes his first return. But who should you choose with your hard-earned red coins? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are answering that big question. The Part 2 banners are live, and all of the returning Dokkan Fests have made their way onto the scene. And the question is, who should you choose now with your hard-earned red coins? So we're going to break down a few of the different good choices that you have available to you for the Part 2. So let's start first and foremost by stating that if you did not pull one of the Dokkan Fest banners, Dokkan Fest units from either Part 1 or Part 2, so the STR Blues or the Omega Shinron, then I highly recommend, if you don't have the pity coins at the moment, to save whatever red coins you do have until they make their return. These are the worldwide LRs, which means their next return will likely be during anniversary, unless we get super lucky with some craziness before then, but more than likely that will be their return. So recommend, if you did not pull either of the Dokkan Fests, that you do save your coins for when they make their return. Now, with that said, there are a couple choices, and we'll start with the best choice, right? It should be no question, but Tech Vegito has made his first return on both Global and JP, and he is still one of the best units in the game for any medium to long content. We all know what happens once you stack up a bit with him, right? They are this was the first introduction to the tag mechanic, right? And right, we know that once we stack them up a bit, both attack and defense, we bring out Tech Vegito with the active skill. We use his target, one of the best targets in the game, because not only does it bring all attacks to him, it increases his defense so high that he pretty much tanks any hits that will be directed towards him, with some exceptions, and we'll get into that in a sec, and of course attacks back, right? When he is built up, right, there is very few characters within the context of the events that he can get built up in that can match his damage output, right? Talking like in the Jiren fights, in the Goku fights, in the Festival of Battles, there are few other units that can match his damage output. He has the ability to literally reach the max amount of damage the game allows, which very few other units can do. So if you do not have this guy, and there's still long content that you're struggling with, or you just need him, he is your number one pick. Heck, I would even say, right, if you didn't pull any dupes in your summons, he's definitely worth your 500 coins. He is probably going to be the best use of your 500 coins if you didn't already pick up Gogeta here from Part 1. Gogeta is also very useful, but of course, you know, we've been long awaiting the Vegito. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of people are sort of jumping on the train that because this event exists, where Vegito doesn't do so well in, because it's really hard to get him out, because pretty much every fight here ends by turn 4, so you're not really going to see Vegito in here. And even in the fight where you can stall the Rose Masu stage, it's very dangerous for him due to the fact that, you know, once you start building up Goku Black, things can get really dicey for Vegito even on his active skill turn, because he just doesn't have the time to build up that defense. So I mean, people are saying that, well, like, oh yeah, this dude is like, you know, bottom of the top 10 now because this event exists. But the reality is, it's not the only event. Festival of Battle still exists, right? The Divine Wrath and Mortal Will event exists, the Boss Rush. And I know a lot of people aren't putting too much faith into that, but if you actually really, we'll actually pull it up here real quick. Challenge events here. If we actually take a look at the event itself here, where is it? Shadow Dragons. Thought it was right here next to the Shadow Dragons, but it looks like it's moved. Here it is. So if you actually look at the stage, the Super One especially, this is especially true for the Super Run, right? We're like the beginning stages are already hitting harder than the beginning stages of the Jiren. Now they do have some really low HP for the first stages, right? So that's kind of offset there. But when you start getting to the ends here, right, especially Vegito and the two Trunkses, right? You're usually hitting this like turn 9 to 10, all right, these phases here between the two, even more so on the Trunks, because the Trunks has more HP than both of the Jiren fights, and the Vegito, while having more HP, has a very dangerous super, right? Even these guys, right, like all of these supers are stronger than the strongest Jiren supers, even the Goku fully built up, so while not crazy hard in the beginning, it very quickly ramps up, and it is a decently long fight that Vegito is still very good for. A lot of people are overlooking this fight, but I do think like it is the balance out to the special battles, and this is going to be even more true when we get the part 2 long fight, which is the Birth of the Shadow Dragons. We do know that in the data there is a boss rush coming for this stage, so you know, we'll have to fight all of the shadow dragons, right? Look at how many shadow dragons there are. This is gonna be a long fight, and if the Divine Wrath at Mortal Will is any indicator, then of course we know that, you know, Vegito is going to do very well there, because those supers are going to be hitting pretty darn hard, if this is any indicator. It's also worthy of note that there is a 4-phase long event coming that is going to cater to Vegito, right? We literally voted for this, so there's another long event, and so knowing that this is coming out, Vegito is going to be very useful here, and so this is another great example of why, something I talked about in previous videos, why it's not so good to jump these trains on, you know, moving characters down to the bottom of tier lists, or just calling units bad because we get a new event that maybe isn't the best for that unit, right? Because there's always going to be more than to come. So Vegito is still going to be very useful, and I imagine if you don't have him, he's going to help you out a lot in whatever this event is going to be that they're bringing out, especially also if you're someone who's still struggling with Festival of Battles. But so Vegito is the number 1 choice from this banner. The number 2 choice is the LR Super Saiyan 4s. If you do not have them, I highly recommend picking them up. They make great partners for the new LR Gogeta. In fact, they are a 7-link partner with them, even in their base form, and then again 7 links when they're transformed. They're such a perfect combination, and if you do not have these guys, not only are they good for both long and short content because of the way their damage reduction works, especially if they show up on turn 2, right? If they show up on turn 2, you get a turn of stacking, and then you can just transform on turn 4 to Gogeta, and then you have 90% damage reduction and a counter. They're really good for both long and short content, so they are a great addition to the team with Gogeta if you do not have them. But the reason they're the number 2 pick, I think, is because I recognize that most people probably do have a copy of them already, since they are from year 7. Now, the last 2 picks I'm going to recommend are lower picks, right? They're not going to cost you a full 500 coins, but they are kind of dependent on a few things, right? There is a chance that Int Gogeta could easy A. He is on the banner, and just in part 1, almost every unit on the banner who is either a new unit or is an easy A unit, and Gogeta is the only unit on this banner who is none of that. So there's a very small chance that he could easy A the celebration, and if he does, depending on how good he is, he could possibly be worthy of picking up with your coin. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Otherwise, right, if you really do have every other character, you're only missing something, right? Int Buhan is a great pickup for 150 coins. Heck, you could spend You can spend 450 coins and get him to a 79% copy. He's a great addition to Omega Shenron's team. If you wanted to, like he works wonders. Minus 79%, and I'm hitting 100 mil with him on some turns on Omega Shenron's team. Like, he's that good. Now, he is available with your Global Stone, but if you use your Global Stone to pick up other things like Vegito Blue or Rose, and you wanted to throw a couple of coins at these guys, wouldn't be wrong to do so, right? As long as you had everyone else, this Super Easy A would be a great pickup for your coins. And he works well in just about all forms of content, except for like super long content like Festival of Battles. So definitely recommend grabbing him if you have all other characters. So that is my final recommendation. Again, my number one pick is grabbing the Tech Vegito if you didn't already, right? Maybe you weren't playing during 10th anniversary and you didn't grab him with your anniversary stone. But if you don't have him or you'd like a dupe of him, that's definitely the way to go. This is the number one pick. Number two pick, again, the year 7s. Number 3 pick would be this guy. And then finally, the Int Gogeta if his EZA ends up being really, really, really good. But otherwise, those are my top picks. Otherwise, if you're not really feeling any of it, just save until all of these guys return during the 11th anniversary. So, guys, that is it for our video. That is who I recommend you picking up with your hard-earned 500 red coins. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, who did you grab with your hard-earned coins? Me personally, this time around, there's no one I really need. If they do end up dropping a banner with the year 2s, I might grab a copy or 2 of the Vegeta, but otherwise I'm going to be hanging on. But let us know what you used your coins for in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.